I see that. I just pulled the plug out of the wall. Oh, here we go. Maybe you're better on the TV than working the TV, right?
Improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Yeah. Nice.
That's like a missed field goal.
PATs, blame the holder then.
I'm going to evaluate you.
You guys couldn't sit still, huh?
No, look. When there's guys on the board that you like, you go try to get them, and we were able to work some trades to be able to move up a little bit in the draft today, and got some players that we really liked.
Dennis, can you specifically get into what you liked about Jake Haener? Yeah, obviously you get this undersized by usual standards, but obviously there's something you like.
Yeah, look, he's extremely smart. He's highly competitive. His decision making and processing is outstanding. He throws the ball with timing and accuracy. And look, we had RC and DJ had a chance to work with him at the Senior Bowl, and so we had a little bit of insider information about the player, and felt like he was the type of guy that we could bring in here, be behind Derek and Jameis, and get a chance to grow and learn, and felt like it was a good prospect to try to develop.
Is quarterback like a little bit different than other positions in that you're trying to isolate those like processing traits and the accuracy traits as opposed to maybe the physical testing or whatever?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, we had a lot of success here with a guy that probably didn't have all the physical traits of some of the other quarterbacks around the league, but was highly skilled at decision making, processing, getting the ball out on time, throwing the ball with accuracy, timing, and I think those are really traits of a quarterback that allow him to be successful. Now, obviously, there's some other guys that were able to do some things based on their athletic ability, but that ability to process, I think, is important, and we felt like Jake was really good at that.
Was that a position where you guys wanted to get someone, or was that moving up specifically?
Well, look, I mean, I think you're always evaluating the quarterbacks. It's the most important position on the field, and so that's always a position that we pay close attention to. I think this was a process of there was a guy that we liked at that position, that was available in the fourth round, and we felt like the value was really there, and so we wanted to go get him.
Is that a position where just your personal philosophy, you'd like to take a shot on someone every few years just to see?
I think if the guy's there that you believe in, I think you go and pick that player, even though I feel really good about where we're at the quarterback position. So it wasn't necessarily a position of need, but it's again, it's the most important position on the field. If you got a guy there that you feel good about, I think you want to try to get that guy in your building.
What was the genesis of that Adam Troutman trade, and then how do you feel about your depth at that position since you have added one?
Yeah, look, I think we feel good about where we're at that position. There was a player on the board in A.T. Perry that we'd been kind of paying attention to, and kind of kept falling to us. And there was a point in the draft where we felt like, man, we want to go up and try to acquire the player. And sometimes when you're moving up to get a guy, you have to be willing to give something up. We didn't have a lot of draft capital to give up to go get him, and so we made the move with Trout. We like Trout. He's been a good player for us, but we felt good about that position, and we wanted to go out and get the receiver.
Is that something that in previous talks Denver had expressed an interest in Trout, if anything ever worked out, or that came up in conversations while you were trying to move up?
Well, look, I mean, Sean drafted him, so we kind of felt like there was probably some interest there. I think that really kind of developed a little bit more, as the day went on, that they'd be willing to, maybe move out of that pick, for Trout.
I know Foster Moreau had still taken his physical with you. I mean, is there any chance he's part of the 20?
Well, look, I think we're still going to evaluate the tight end position, and so obviously he's a guy that's out there and available as in terms of a veteran tight end. There's some other guys that are out there that we could consider. So we're going to get through this free agent process upstairs with the college guys. We'll evaluate where we're at in the roster and see what we need to do.
Where do you see Saldiveri? I know he played tackle.
Well, look, the cool thing about him is that he's got some versatility. I see him moving inside initially, but there's some flex with the player in that he's played offensive tackle, he's played guard, he played center in the Senior Bowl, so we feel like there's some flexibility with the player. But I think initially, the thought would be to move him inside.
How high was he on the board? Did he naturally pick, or did you guys have very low high than that?
Well, I'll say at the start of the fourth round, we kind of came in, looked at some guys that we had on the board that were available to us. We knew there was going to be a run on offensive linemen at some point in the draft, and it happened to go in the fourth round. I don't remember exactly how many offensive linemen went in the fourth round, but there was a ton that went off in the first 15 picks of the fourth round. So, he was the lineman that we really liked, that we wanted to go get.
And kind of related to that, like when did y'all start that process of pretty much with the first pick in the round?
Well, it really kind of started last night. When the draft was over, we knew there were some players that we liked. We weren't sure they were going to get to us at, what was our pick, 115? And so we started calling around to see if anybody'd be interested in moving back. And we found a trade partner in Chicago, and they happened to be, the first pick of the fourth round, so we knew we were going to get the player we wanted.
You mentioned that A.T. Perry was a player that y'all were sort of watching as he moved down. What is it that you all liked about him, and what did you think he did?
Yeah, I think big physical receiver, good transitional route runner, productive in college, has the ability to go up and high point the ball, contested catches. And so, I think the size and athleticism, again, I think we've kind of talked about that a lot over the last 2 or 3 days, is, guys that have size, length, athleticism. Those are qualities that we like in football players.
Dennis, you got 3 players from the Senior Bowl, you got coaches, coaching group. How much valuable was that to have the coaches actually?
Yeah, look, I think it's extremely valuable. And I've always said that you don't ever really know what you have until the player's in your building. All right, well, this is a little bit different situation, but we actually had an opportunity to go and coach these guys and watch them work on a day in and day out basis. How do they react in the meeting room? What are their practice habits like? What are their work habits like? How do the other players around them respond to them? So yeah, I think that was valuable to have those guys working with those guys.
Thanks. What about Jordan Howden?
Again, another versatile player that can play a lot of different positions, either safety spot. He's played in the nickel some. I think he's got some pretty good man-to-man coverage skills, and he's been a highly, productive player at a pretty good school.
Special teams.
Special teams is always part of the deal. As you get, going a little bit later in the draft, that special teams value. I think he had over 500 snaps special teams, and so, yeah, that was part of the evaluation.
I know you guys made some stuff happen with the trades here, but do you feel like things lined up pretty well to scratch off a lot of the needs and the wants, kind of going down the list?
Yeah, look, we feel good about what we were able to accomplish over the last 3 days. You know, we felt like we had a lot of quality players that fit what we're looking for, and they filled some of the needs that we had on the team.
Is there any position you still consider at the top of the need? I guess next free agency period opens next week, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, look, I feel good about where we're at in terms of the roster. Again, we're working through right now some of the college free agency process, and so we'll get through that. We'll take a look at the roster, see where we're at, and see, you know, what other moves that we might need to make to fill out the roster. But we feel good about where we're at right now.
Linebacker is a position where you guys haven't added anyone in free agency or the draft, even though you lost Kendre. Does that speak in any way to anything you see in Zach Vaughn or, well, I guess Tess Summers, I'm sorry, but Zach Vaughn or DeMarco Jackson developing and maybe bigger?
Well, look, you know, honestly, we've got a lot of young players. I'd say maybe some question marks at that position in terms of just guys that we don't have a lot of experience with, of knowing exactly what we have at that position. But I think that's a position that we'll continue to evaluate to see if there's a way that we can upgrade the roster. But yeah, we feel pretty good about the position.
How about Zach in particular? Do you feel like?
I think look, he's obviously been a very good special teams player for us. He's a guy that we've always felt like has the ability to be a starting Sam linebacker on the ball. He's improved a lot as an off-the-ball backer, and I think that's still where, you know, he's got to continue to improve. And you know, I feel good about where he's at, and this will be a great opportunity for him to kind of step up and show that he's ready to take on a more expanded role.
The fact that 3 of the first 4 picks were playing on offensive or defensive line, was that indicative of anything beyond who was available when you were picking?
Well, I would say, you know, those are premier positions. I mean, defensive end, defensive tackle, offensive line. I mean, you know, like we talked about, you know, last night, you know, there's not a lot of, you know, big athletic humans roaming this earth right now. And when you find one that has the skill set to play, you know, play football, those are guys that are valuable guys to get on your team. So I think just the fact that, you know, football is a big man's game, you know, and we had a chance to go get some big guys that we think can help us. I think that played a role in it.
You mentioned yesterday that Foskey can maybe help with the quarterbacks that get outside of the pocket. Was that a specific trait you guys are looking for at some point this offseason to get, okay, we need to get someone that can do this and kind of targeted it?
I wouldn't say that was a specific thing that we looked at that, oh man, we have to find somebody that can do that. I mean, look, I think we've been pretty decent at stopping the run around here for a pretty significant amount of time. I know we took a little bit of a step back last year, but still feel pretty good about where we're at there. But, you know, again, you know, a big guy that's got some size and some length and some athleticism. You know, we felt like he was a good addition. All right. Thanks, guys.